They say history is full of what-ifs, but this one, what if, will send shivers down your spine. What if someone told you a religion could be a cover for unimaginable brutality and merciless subjugation? Now let's dive into the horrifying abyss of the Caliphate's conquests. The Islamic Caliphates were a series of states that succeeded the early Muslim community after the death of Prophet Muhammad in 632 CE. They quickly grew into vast empires stretching from the Middle East to North Africa, India, and even Spain. Their expansion was rapid and relentless, driven by the sword and the promise of riches. But behind this facade of wealth and power lay a sinister truth. From the bustling cities of Sind to the heartland of Central Asia, their conquests were marked by brutal massacres and relentless sieges. Taxation, confiscation of land, and discriminatory laws systematically drained the resources and livelihood from subjugated communities. Conquering a territory meant not only subjugating its people, but also transforming its cultural landscape according to Islamic norms. The destruction of temples, libraries, and cultural centers was widespread, aiming to eradicate non-Muslim traditions and knowledge. Local languages were suppressed in favor of Arabic, leading to the loss of linguistic diversity and the silencing of indigenous voices. Let this grim reminder serve as a call to action for all of us to learn from the mistakes of the past, confront uncomfortable truths, and strive to create a better future. And if you found this video informative, don't forget to hit the like button. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. This cultural homogenization was a deliberate strategy to erase the identity of conquered populations, replacing it with a uniform Islamic culture. The Caliphates aimed to create a world where diversity was demonized and conformity to a single culture was enforced, leaving behind a legacy of cultural uniformity and intolerance. Muslim rulers implemented a rigid hierarchy that favored Muslims over ensuring that non-Muslims were systematically disadvantaged in trade, finance, and land ownership. Imagine a young girl named Fatima, a resident of a once vibrant city, now subdued by the Caliphate's forces. Daily life for her means navigating through the debris of her culture, watching her father struggle under the oppressive jizya tax, and enduring the constant threat of her mother and sisters being taken as concubines. Her day begins with the haunting azan call to prayer and ends with the fear of the night, when the Muslim soldiers might come for their next victim. Education for Fatima means learning the Quran by heart to ensure a better future for herself. For her brother, it means memorizing the scriptures and mastering the art of war to defend his family's honor. Life under the Caliphate has stripped them of their childhood, their innocence lost in the struggle for survival. This wasn't just about extracting wealth. It was about creating a system that perpetuated dependency and inequality. Comparing the Caliphate's atrocities to other empires only invites more questions. Was it the Mongols who forcibly converted and persecuted other religions? Did the Roman Empire enslave and exploit conquered populations on such a massive scale? Or did they erase cultures and humiliate conquered leaders as the Islamic Caliphates did? The confiscated lands were redistributed among Muslim conquerors and loyalists, while non-Muslims were often relegated to small plots of land, hindering their ability to sustain themselves. This process not only impoverished conquered populations, but also fueled resentment and resistance. The economic exploitation was a tool of control, ensuring that the Caliphate's grip on power and resources remained unchallenged. In Sind, the story of the Caliphate's tyranny is etched in the annals of history. As Muslim rulers descended upon the region, they unleashed a wave of terror, subjugating the local populace and imposing their dominance through force. Historical accounts speak of entire communities being decimated, their lives brutally extinguished in the pursuit of conquest. The streets ran red with the blood of the slain, a grim testament to the Caliph's insatiable thirst for power. Central Asia, too, bore the scars of these violent campaigns. As armies swept through the region, they left behind a trail of devastation, burning cities, desecrating holy sites, and enslaving or massacring those who resisted their advance. The cultural richness that once defined the region was trampled underfoot, replaced by the echoes of violence and the stench of death. These acts of extreme brutality were not mere aberrations. They were integral to the Caliphate's modus operandi, showcasing a disturbing disregard for human and life in a terrifying efficiency and instilling obedience through fear and bloodshed. Welcome to our channel, where today we'll unveil the darkest deeds committed by the Islamic Caliphate, leaving you to ponder, was it all really in the name of God? Before we begin, be sure to hit that subscribe button, so you never miss any of our gripping historical tales. Non-Muslims, or people of the book as they were called, were subjected to forced conversions, religious persecution, and a humiliating tax called jizya. Brutal sieges and massacres became common occurrences as they overthrew kingdoms and subjugated populations. In Sindh, for instance, Muslim rulers reportedly unleashed a reign of terror, enslaving many and forcing others into a humiliating dhimmi status. Female captives often faced the horrifying prospect of becoming concubines for conquerors. The infamous slave markets of Baghdad and other cities tell a tale of unspeakable horrors where men, women, and children were bought, sold, and traded like commodities. Enslavement and sexual exploitation were not just brutal practices, but institutionalized aspects of the Caliphate's rule, perpetuating cycles of captivity and trauma across generations, which they had to pay for being allowed to practice their faith under the protection of the Caliphate. Mosques and other places of worship were destroyed and defiled, turning once vibrant centers of culture into desolate ruins. This systematic erasure of non-Muslim communities reveals a disturbing aspect of the Caliphate's rule. It was not just about expanding an empire, it was about imposing a single religion, culture, and identity on conquered peoples through force and oppression. But first, a word of caution. What you're about to hear might challenge your perceptions and understanding of history. As the Caliphates spread their tentacles across diverse lands, they did not merely conquer territories. They systematically erased cultures, massacred populations, and enslaved countless men, women, and children. The Islamic Caliphates also presided over the mass enslavement of men, women, and children during their conquests. The Islamic Caliphates left an indelible mark of violence and destruction in their wake. As they expanded their dominion across diverse lands, under the yoke of the Islamic Caliphates, the conquered people were subjected to economic exploitation on a grand scale. The Islamic Caliphates pursued a systematic campaign of cultural erasure, suppressing local customs, traditions, and even languages. Amidst the shadows of towering mosques and the haunting silence of desecrated temples, the stories of ordinary people offer a glimpse into the daily realities of life under the Islamic Caliphates. Yes, some argue these acts were common in that era. But does that justify them? As we conclude this journey through the darkest chapters of history, let us leave you with the words of the great philosopher George Santayana: "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." What do you think about the cruel acts committed by the Islamic Caliphate? Share your thoughts in the comments below.